So, hi, test, hi. Okay, I'm back. 12 days or so ago afterwards, last stream was the 10th of July, and I thought, hey, why not stream? I should be like, I don't know, logging the things that are happening and so on, so that I don't forget and that too much time doesn't pass. Plus, right now I've been having, to be honest, like plenty of, I don't know, filler days or like empty days. So it's always nice to check Google Photos to see what's been happening and to see whether I've been doing something or what's been going on, because yeah, it's never bad to like check out what I've done. Because for example, I'm looking at Google Photos right now, I'm seeing that I've done a couple of things that I had already kind of forgotten, I guess. So yeah, that's the plan for today's stream. I also have some notes, but I don't think I'm going to go into deep into the notes. I don't know. I always put that off, to be honest. Yo, how have you been? Kind of. I don't know. I don't want to say bad because some good things have happened. I did pass the simulator at the second try, so at least some things have been going my way. But to be honest, kind of like, I don't know, not with super great mood, I would say. But I've been doing a lot of things outside, so when I'm outside doing things with people and so on, plus Spain has won the World Cup and so on, so that kind of like brings a little bit of like, yeah, the like watching the games with other people who are Spanish and are happy and so on. It's like, I don't know, brings the mood up a little bit. How have you been? And yeah, starting with Friday the 10th, I think that day itself I streamed. Let's check at what time. 6:40. So I think I streamed right before going to the match, or right before dinner or something, and I was planning to have dinner that day. I'm not sure. Well, I could check here. Friday the 10th, watching the match at 9 p.m. against Belgium, and that place was a beer garden close to Max Vorstadt. I think is close to Max Weberplatz. I forgot the name. Max Weber Keller or something like that. Max Keller or something like this. No, Vienna Platz. Vienna am Wiener. It was something am Wiener. Keller am Wiener or something like that. An interesting beer garden. I get that. I was really stressed since I thought I need to buy a new PC since mine doesn't support Win 11, and the new one would have been 2500 thanks AI. But apparently I just had to change some things on the BIOS and now I could update. Still didn't, but now I at least can when I need to. That's nice. Do you need Windows 11 for something? I mean, for gaming, it sucks because everything like Valorant, for example, that shit requires, I think, if not Windows 11, everything with anti-cheat is like so picky and so annoying. They require always like doing something in your BIOS or like changing some TPM setting or something like that. This is so fucking annoying. And yeah, against Belgium, it was quarterfinals. We watched it on a beer garden after stream, I guess. I forgot that I had streamed that day, but yeah. And we won, so it was nice. Interesting feeling. Then Saturday, I think I didn't do anything particular. I don't have any pictures. Maybe they just haven't uploaded. But yeah, I don't know. Sunday, I went to have lunch, Spanish lunch, with some classmates, and I did that. Well, not with one classmate and his two friends, that he knows from some volleyball thing or like some other stuff that are also Spanish. We went to a Spanish restaurant. The Spanish restaurant was, not gonna lie, pretty shit. It was the same restaurant we had gone a week prior, but I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't that good. But I don't know. I'm kind of like gregarious or whatever. I do what other people suggest because I don't really have any other suggestions. So yeah, it was kind of expensive for what it was. It was not amazing quality, but it was passable. So yeah, and the vibe was interesting because the music is Spanish and so on. So I don't know. It's not like I'm surrounded by Germans every day, so it's not like I miss that, to be honest, that much. But it's always nice to hang out, I guess. And then we went to a karaoke bar. Well, Windows 10 doesn't get safety updates after October this year, and since I need my perf PC for work, safety is a bit important. I was at the Anime Messe in Babelsberg on Saturday. Dropped like 270 there. Whoops. What did you get? But I don't usually go out or spend a lot of money, so after I heard I won't need to buy the 2500 PC, I thought, why not? I've been spending kind of a lot lately. I got this. It's called AYN Thor, and it's like one of these kind of like emulator consoles that runs Android, but not gonna lie, it's so dope. It has like so many emulators. I have like one Switch game at the moment. I was playing it and it was nice. Some 3DS games, I only have one at the moment. The other one I couldn't install. I think I downloaded it wrong, but I don't know, it's pretty fun. I've been playing like some old games, and mainly I liked the device. I think it was like an interesting device. To be honest, it was like too expensive. It's almost like 500 euros, but because it came with some accessories like this grip and so on. But just configuring this thing is like so fucking annoying, and it takes like several days and so on, because it just runs stack Android. So in order to get it some system that looks like kind of nice and where that gets you games and like gets you like the descriptions and so on. It's pretty dope, to be honest. I got 9 mangas, a book, 3 t-shirts, a figure, food, and a few bits and bobs here and there. Does it also take cards? No, that doesn't do it. Like you mean these cartridges or whatever, right? No, that it doesn't. It's just pure emulation. It does take like a micro SD card, if that's what you mean. But right now I'm just like running it on storage. I don't have like many, because since micro SD cards are also like kind of expensive. I mean, not ridiculously expensive, but like, I don't know, 2 or 3 times the price that I remembered. So it's like micro SD cards were kind of expensive. Then they dropped to a point where I was like, whoa, micro SD cards are actually like pretty cheap nowadays. And then because of the AI thing, they shot up in price once again. So I don't know. Ideally, you would like run the games and so on emulators on like a micro SD card in order to like be able to switch them up and like to load them and to change it to other Android emulators and so on. So yeah, like these cartridge emulators are like really difficult to make. There is like one cartridge emulator for like a Game Boy that is like really sick. I think it's called the Chromatic Mod Retro or something, but apparently it's like 200 euros and it only plays Game Boy Color. It's like Game Boy Advanced, no, not even Advanced, right? It's like the Game Boy, normal Game Boy and Game Boy Color. So it's kind of like you have to really like Game Boy Color and Game Boy to get one of those, I guess, and to like really like original hardware and so on. I don't mind emulating. Like, it has its problems. For example, playing Nintendo 64, I was playing a Nintendo 64 game here, and I couldn't find the with these buttons for a Nintendo 64 controller where are the rest of the buttons. You need a lot of them. So yeah, I couldn't. I was playing a train game and I couldn't use the horn, and the horn is like a safety feature on trains, so it was like kind of suck. But yeah. But yeah, this came actually on Monday. Talking about that, speaking of, no, that I think this must have come a little bit earlier. I'm going to try to figure out when it came. No, it did come, or no? Legoland. No, I'm pretty sure it did have to come that day on Monday. It came on Monday last week. Not this Monday, but the Monday in the last week. And that Monday I also went to... We had... what did we have? Did we even have class? I think people had the oral exam or something like this, right? I think I had last week the simulator exam, and they had on Monday the written exams, and they failed or something. So I went that day to check, to I don't know, to offer support. 3 of them passed, 4 of them failed again. Then the next day 2 of them passed and 1 of them failed, and so on. And then on the simulator day 1 passed and 1 failed, and I passed. And that day on Monday, where my console came, we went to I checked out a flat with the flat that a classmate of mine has already rented, and it was interesting. We checked the lamps, and then we just hang out. We watched a movie in German, in those open air cinemas, and it was an interesting experience. They gave us, for the price, quite pricey, ticket of I don't know, 12 euros or something. It did come at least with a glass of wine, so it was interesting. And it was a kind of feminist movie or something, which I didn't completely understand because it was in German, so I only understood, I guess, 70%, 80%. But it was an interesting experience. And then we just kept hanging out until nighttime. There was this thing it's called Tollwood. And yeah, there was kind of this fake moon, so that was funny to see. And they had also music and drinks and so on. So it was kind of a small festival or something, or a market. I don't really like the old games, but I do have a few lying around somewhere, and I'd love to have a look at my old saves and stuff. Yeah, that's actually true. And I did buy, before all this, I bought... Do I have it here? The one system that I do have original, it's a Game Boy SP. I bought this one for my friend who left to the Philippines. This is his... And he has Emerald, Pokemon Emerald, the original. So I bought this thing, and this thing, what it does is it reads Game Boy cartridges, and it can rip them. So I have them saved from his cartridge ripped, and I was planning on fixing it up, but I don't know. At the end of the day, I never do the things that I plan to do. So right now it's just sitting there. But yeah, I don't know. I was planning on doing that. And I even bought all the things. And I did rip it. The save must be sitting around somewhere on my PC. But fixing the cartridge, it requires soldering. I did buy soldering equipment and so on, but I didn't end up actually soldering. It has like every cartridge has a battery apparently. So it needs a battery. So I bought little batteries for the cartridges, and you have to buy packs of 10. And I bought a soldering stick, and I was planning on like, I don't know, some time opening it up, soldering it, and trying to fix this game, but I didn't do it. Oh damn! I'd love to play my old Emerald again, but I don't think I know what it is. Yeah, they're expensive too. If you want to get one now, it sucks because everything's so expensive. Like that Game Boy, I bought it from my friend for like 30 euros or 40 euros or something. But if you check retail prices, they're like 80 or 100, right? So it was like he kind of like did me the favor of like selling it to me low, because I don't know. It's like we know each other, and I don't know. It's kind of like that. I didn't have that particular console that much, but I have actually played Emerald on his console sometimes when I was like over at his house, and I don't know. It was kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of like keeping it in the family, or in a way, right? But yeah, everything is so expensive. I actually wanted to buy a Game Boy Micro, but they're so expensive, so I never got one. I mean, not gonna lie, for the price that I got my Thor, this thing, I could have gotten like a perfect Game Boy Micro and like a couple of games, but from the technical point of view, this is, I guess, like much more impressive and like much better, much more powerful, much more everything, right? It's much more versatile. It's like you can use this kind of for everything. And I've been playing a lot, actually. I've been playing Steam games with this. I was playing like Super Hot on this. This can emulate Windows as well, right? It can emulate games, so it can emulate Windows games, and that's pretty cool. It can load up your Steam library, and you can download some games. I don't do it a lot because since the Wi-Fi here sucks, downloading those games is like an ordeal. But and yeah, I guess what I've been doing these weeks, I went to that little festival that day. Then the Tuesday, it was again football soccer match, and it was dope. This time we watched it someplace more centric, I think, and that place had like a really great ambience, you could say. It's called the Lovenbrau. I think the beer is kind of famous overall, right? But that's like the main, I guess, beer garden and so on. And apparently, a lot of Spanish people know it because it was like packed with Spanish people. Like like every match, more or less, most of the people have been Spanish people. Like most of the people who were cheating and so on. But which is kind of funny to think about, to be honest. But particularly in this beer garden, it was like really a lot of Spanish people, and like big tables, like pre-reserved and so on. Then Wednesday, I think I didn't go with anyone, and no one had anything. It was like the day previous to my simulator, so I think I just bought something. I went for a walk over there to clear my head because I was actually kind of feeling, I don't know, not nervous from the exam per se. I guess like a combination of things, emails that I've gotten and things like this. Kind of thinking. Then on Thursday, I had the test. I passed. Then I think on the afternoon, I'm not sure what we did. I think we ate outside, but I forgot. Maybe not. But yeah, I guess that day, kind of like a worry was kind of a little bit lifted. And then from that point onwards until today, so Thursday afternoon, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. All of these days have been free. I haven't been doing anything. I didn't have myself. No, Monday I did have something. Sorry, but until Sunday, so these 4 days. Well, Thursday afternoon, then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I had free. Sunday it was the match. Saturday apparently I just played some games on this. I spent I think the whole day kind of like watching tutorials, setting this up, browsing the web, kind of like half-assedly setting it up also. Not full because the internet that I have doesn't let me kind of like download a clean ROM set and so on. So I was kind of like half-assedly doing setting things up and so on. Then on Sunday we watched the match at night. During the day it was just like another day of like browsing the internet, not doing a lot, maybe going buy something. I mean, on Sunday definitely didn't buy anything, but on Saturday I think maybe I bought something on Lidl. I don't know. Monday I had simulator, no, not another simulator, a different one called LZB Besonderheiten. They're like the Besonderheiten from the S-Bahn Munich, because it has like the tunnel, so there are like a couple of specific things that only apply here, and only after you already passed the other exams they start to like count, because it's different. They are like a little bit less strict, because the tunnel, for example, has like a couple of exceptions where you're allowed to just like drive even if you don't have like some permission, like written permission for some things and so on. That was Monday, and then yesterday and today, Tuesday and Thursday and Wednesday, I didn't do a lot, to be honest. I was just like hanging out, I guess, by myself also, because my classmates had class on Tuesday and Wednesday and so on. Didn't see anyone. Today a classmate put a washing machine on, like did laundry, so I hung out with him for a couple of minutes, but yeah, that's basically all I've done. Yesterday I did go to Lidl and buy, using like my Egola or whatever it's called, one of these Voi electric scooters. And today as well I went to Lidl to grab a couple of quick things for lunch. Yeah, that's basically it. That was kind of that has been week 29, you could say. A lot of this, to be honest. And I like the device, to be honest. It's cool. But at the end of the day, it's just like one other thing. Whoa, 4 years. Well, I had the anime messe, and on Friday I invited 2 friends and we went to eat Italian. We were planning for this for 4 years now, but we never managed to. Just the eating food or the going to the messe together. I'm going to look up where it was because I wanted to look that up, but I didn't do it. Babelsberg. I assume that's kind of like some Messegelände close to Berlin or something, right? SV Babelsberg. Oh no, it's Potsdam. Weimar. Okay, but to be honest, it is kind of close to Berlin. Like Potsdam is really close to Berlin. I thought it was like further away. But yeah, I guess it is kind of like the really outskirts of Berlin. It's not really Berlin. Other than that, I had work, and that's pretty much it. That's worth mentioning. Not the mess, just the eating food. It's just hard for us to meet up with all different schedules. Yeah, it was legit one S-Bahn ride for me. The S-Bahn Berlin is so interesting. I like the trains. The colors, basically. I don't actually know the network. Maybe one day. I like that they have a ring, though. Having a ring. I like when trains are on time. The stream stopped when you mentioned the ring. Yeah, I noticed. Scheiße. Am I back? The ring band is really helpful to get around, to be honest. Yeah. You're back. Nice. I was just saying that it's cool. That maybe one day I will go there, I guess, to visit. I don't know. Lately, I'm kind of like demotivated about everything. So I was talking to AI as I always do, complaining and being like, lately I don't have any goals, and the only goals that I accomplished, right? Like for example, the simulator thing. I guess I did accomplish that. That is, I guess, passing one test. But it was like the rest of the goals that I have, like all of the licenses that I said that I wanted to get, like the motorcycle license or whatever. It's like, I'm like, what's the point? I don't know if the streaming is desynced or it's my problem. I don't know. No fucking idea. What is it? The voice or what? I don't know if the streaming is desynced or it's my problem. I don't know. No fucking idea. What is it? I think it sounds okay. From my point of view, when I play it back, it sounds normal and like looks normal. Maybe it's like it has more delay than it used to, because maybe, I don't know, it has something in, I don't know, but maybe something internal has happened, because when the connection drops, sometimes maybe, I don't know, OBS adjusted some settings behind the scenes, I think. But yeah, I don't know, basically. Yeah, I had to reload the stream. To me, it was totally desynced. Lol. Crazy. I think I'm going to have to get good internet. Right now, I'm really feeling the pain. Like, I used to feel the pain and complain and all that. I guess I wish I had got it sooner, because then I could have streamed, I guess, maybe more regularly, because now for me streaming feels kind of like a luxury, because I have only 61 gigabytes a month. So if I stream, that's, I don't know, like a couple of gigabytes in a day, in a single afternoon, gone. So I'm really kind of limited by roaming, by Spanish telecom companies' roaming policies or whatever, because I'm hooked up to my dad's internet. So in Spain, it's unlimited, but here outside, and actually, I don't know how long it will last, because I don't know when it resets. I think it's 6 or 7 months, or 5, 6 or 7 months. I don't know exactly, but after some period of time, I have to go back to Spain for it to reset. But I don't know. But yeah, what I was saying is that, I don't know, I'm kind of like, ooh. I'm not sure if it's loading. Yeah, okay. I was just reading the streaming people, the streaming graph, and it was like 3 minutes away. So I think when you reloaded, it was showing me the fact that you reloaded, like, and you went away and then loaded back in. But yeah, I don't know what I was saying. Just that I'm demotivated or something. I could check out some notes to see if I had something to say. I had some topics that I wanted to think about, I guess, but or like make kind of videos about or something. But as I said, I'm kind of like demotivated, so it's like I don't even want to make these videos anymore, right? Because they feel like, I don't know, half too much work, half what's the point? So yeah, I don't know. One idea that I had for this week was kind of like, I watched some video, and there was like a segment where it said something like building my dream instead of someone else's, right? It's like the classic entrepreneur dynamic or something. This was like a girl who is like a solo female traveler or something like this, and she was like, I was tired. She was working corporate in London, and she was like, I wanted to start building my own dream instead of someone else's or something like this, right? And her dream was to travel or whatever, and she did that, right? And now she kind of like travels around, and now she has like some land in Poland, and she lives in like the woods or whatever. But I don't know, I was thinking, to what extent is working a corporate job building someone else's dream? It's like, if you're working for whatever companies in London, one of these management consulted companies, or like bank, I don't know, HSBC, or like Bain Consulting, or like McKinsey. It's like, who the fuck actually is at McKinsey? What is their dreams? The dream of the person running McKinsey is probably not to be like, well, we operationalize the KPIs of agile companies and agilize the internal management of the assets of the companies. Like, that's probably not their fucking dream or whatever, right? Like, not even the partner. I don't know who the fuck is being like, when I grow up, I want to be partner at Goldman Sachs, or my dream is to manage a diversified portfolio of great profitable companies and aid in their digital transformation. Like, who the fuck is dreaming like that? It's like, when you're working like that, it's no one's dream, right? Sure, it's like, maybe if you're like the lowest piece of shit there, you're being paid less to do the work, and the guy over you is just like ordering people around, and he gets to buy a Lamborghini because he makes $5 million a year or whatever. But it's like, you're not really building his dream, he's also building this fucking company and getting paid more than you, but also not making what the company makes or something, right? So it's like, I don't know, I feel like that whole narrative is a little bit kind of like strange, right? I don't want to be like, whoa, entrepreneurs, they take so much risk and it's like so crazy and they do like so much good for society, blah, blah. It's like, sure, they take risk and whatever, and that's interesting, but I don't want to be like, they're martyrs, they're only doing it for the good of society, they don't think about themselves. It's like, no, they fucking think about themselves, they want to be rich or whatever, right? But also, it's not really building their own dream. It's more like, I don't know, if you have a company building gyms or whatever, like Alex Hormozi, was his dream to scale gym launch and to launch a lot of gyms? I mean, probably not, right? Maybe his dream was to be ripped or something, and to be rich and ripped. And I guess if you get to be rich, then you are building your dream to an extent, but the thing that you're building, it's not a dream. No, it's no one's dream, right? It's just what some kind of market wants, or like some gap in the market or whatever, right? I recently was listening to a song by Alligator where she said, Sie sagen eines Tages werde mal deine Träume wahr. Ich hoffe nicht, denn ich träume schwarz. Gute Nacht, tough. They say someday your dreams will be reality. I hope not, because I dream, yeah. In Spain we say the same thing, I guess. We dream in black. Or, well, we don't say that. We don't say we dream in black. We sueño en negro. Sueños, but we do say, like, our future is black, or like future is dark, or something like this. We do say that. I feel like that fits me quite well, since I also don't have a dream. I don't know. I do have a lot of dreams or whatever, right? But I'm like, I don't know. It seems like no one is actually like building their dreams or whatever, right? I guess someone, but it feels like building a dream is not the capitalism, the purpose of capitalism. The purpose of capitalism is making money or whatever. Right? It's like opportunities for money, doing them, and some dreams take money and some dreams don't. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't have like a lot of material to make a video about this, so I just wrote a note and was like, "What the fuck do I do? Do I make a video about this?" I mean, I could. I used to have like a different mindset around these things, and I used to be like, "Yeah, let's make a video." But now also making a video requires me to have internet to upload it and so on. So it's like, what's the point? Then I did want to make a video about leverage or something like this, right? I wanted to really understand leverage, I guess, or the several kinds of leverage that exist. And there was an interesting post about leverage. I watched a video about index funds or so on, and there was one quote where they said something kind of like clever about leverage, and it's like, it wasn't about index funds, it was about the Korean stock market, and the Korean stock market has gone like crazy because of the RAM. All the memory manufacturers are in Korea, in South Korea, right? And the Korean stock market has gone from being like this for like 6 years or something to doing this. So, and the president was like kind of like promising a rise or whatever, and he got it, and then he doubled what he promised in that index valuations and so on. But it's actually just two companies, right? And that's also kind of risky, also having your whole stock market depending on two companies. So it did like that, and Korean investors and so on, they were like making a fuck ton of money, but also because of that, the index funds, well, there were some funds that were created to kind of like leverage yourself more, right? So for each point that the index gains, you gain twice. But that also means that if the index loses 2 points, you lose twice. So it was like a whole fucking ordeal within this leverage ecosystem, and that basically the fact that people create those systems, it makes the market itself and the index itself behave in kind of more volatile ways. So it was like the best performing stock market in the whole of the developed world, or even the undeveloped world or whatever, but also in this year, but also the one with the biggest drops. So it has dropped like 30% last week or something shit like that. So in that video, they talked about leverage in a really clever way. And I thought, it would be interesting to get like, to just abstract that leverage and to, I guess, compare it to how my friend, for example, has used leverage. Because my Bitcoin friend, the one who went to the Philippines, the one I bought the Game Boy SP from, by the way, he's also dealing with the bad sides of leverage, which is almost getting margin called and so on. So it's like, it's difficult, right? I don't know. I also have an idea here what I got wrong about index funds. So that's kind of like, I wanted to talk out loud about what did I get wrong about investing in index funds, because in the same way that, for example, I think my friend got leverage wrong and he got over leveraged, way over leveraged, I think I got over invested in index funds. I mean, right now the bet has played out nice, but I think I wasn't considering a lot of considerations that I'm not sure if should have considered, but where considering them would probably have helped. And that's, for example, regional things. If I go now, for example, I've done my Steuererklärung for the first time in my life, actually. In Spain, I have never done my own Steuererklärung because I've never actually worked in Spain. I've only gotten like internships or like things like that, right? Always quite low pay, and I was always living under the roof of my dad. So I think he did that and include me in them, and asked me for a couple of documents or something like this. But I've never actually done mine. It was the first year I've done mine, and I've done it. Well, first of all, because I think I was mandated to do it, apparently, after talking to AI, but also because I knew I would get back like 1,600 euros because I got put in the wrong Stoja clase the first couple of months, so I got like a lot of taxed a lot, and now I get it. I get my tax back, I guess. So I think combining that with some random shit that I've put that I hope gets taken, that gets approved or something about like pauschale things. I don't exactly understand, but like there is like a 14 euro pauschal per tag that you go somewhere, and I've gone somewhere a lot of tag, so I guess I get some money back, and then the end total up, and I've moved to from Spain, so I get like this umzugs pauschal or whatever, or umzugs something, and I get some money, I guess, back. So it's almost like 1,900 euros or something that I should be getting back if I've done my Steuererklärung correctly and the Finanzamt approves everything I've done. But because I've done that, I had to look at my investments. At the end of the day, I didn't even need to declare them, apparently. According to AI. Maybe I'm doing like legal crimes or financial crimes or some shit. But according to AI, because it analyzed like the internal transactions or whatever of the document, and apparently I think it's wrong, to be honest. I think maybe I probably should have actually declared something, but I know even if I should have declared it, I know I don't owe any money, because the amount that it kind of like transfers to each other or whatever, it's like so ridiculous that it's under the limit, like way under the limit that you should pay money. But still, I don't know. But it told me that I shouldn't have even declared it, so I don't know. But yeah, because of that, I postponed it so much because I was doubting, okay, do I need to declare it? Do I not need to declare it? And I waited until today. I guess it has been a good idea because I've been able to use more powerful AI models than were available in April. So at least that part's good. Well, more like May, because it was in May, around May, when these documents from my investments company came. But yeah, I don't know. That's one idea that I had. I wanted to consider, yeah, but basically the idea that I had was to consider for these investments is like I should have considered a more international approach, right? I should have considered kind of like, okay, what's better if I'm going to move around a lot of countries? What's better? Because the tax exemptions that apply in Spain for index funds don't necessarily translate to other countries. So what if I remain here in Germany? What happens to these funds, right? The main reason to get funds in Spain is because you can switch funds from one fund to another, and there's no transaction tax, particularly for funds. But in Germany, I think it doesn't go that way. So yeah. I think you are fine either way, but I wouldn't never trust AI, especially not with something that important. At the moment, almost everything AI tells me anything is either wrong or not what I asked. Do you pay? I think it's important to pay also, because the good AI is the one that you pay for. Sadly, to be honest, it's cheap for what it does, and they have already like the next week after I did that, it costs money now. The AI that I used, the AI model Fable, it costs, I don't know, I spent today, they gave me 150 euros or something, but they cost money now. It costs money. But yeah, you're right, to be honest. I'm not sure how I would have done it before AI. I will say that. I would have Googled I Googled myself index funds Spain? What happened? Would I have gone on forums? Because I think the case is like so specific that it's so difficult to find concrete answers online if you're just looking, right? I don't know, maybe there are examples. Or there are Spanish forums or European forums from people who have moved around. I don't know. I'm gonna shut myself before I pay for that shit, to be very blunt. Yeah, I mean, fair. Fair, but also then it's no surprise it actually sucks, right? Except Gemini. Gemini is the most decent out of all the free ones, but it's so capped now. It's like 10 free requests or something like that. And I'm like, 10 requests doesn't do anything. I have like 5 Google accounts, so I mean I get 50 because I have done this thing of like switching accounts, but you lose your context, you have to copy and paste the context around. It's annoying. And Google is right now, I guess, falling a little bit behind, or they haven't released anything in a couple of days or something. So, but yeah, I get what you mean, to be honest. Definitely better not to rely on it. But I guess it's like the internet or electricity in a way, right? Maybe not. Maybe people don't want that, but I already think of it kind of like that. It's kind of like the internet or like electricity. It's just something that's there. So it's like if you refuse to use electricity, at some point it's going to be too impractical, right? Well, you might be right with the free ones suck, but I'm also not trying to ask AI. That's just what you get, whatever you try. Yeah. Yeah, and also if you Google something now, it's AI. Like the first thing that they put, it's AI, and it's like half the time is that shit's wrong. So it's like, don't put that until it's right, okay, or something, right? But I don't know. It's kind of worrying because I do see a lot of people now when they Google something, they just read this kind of AI overview, they trust it, and it's like, interesting. But yeah, I don't know. I use it a lot, to be honest. I use it for 4 things mainly, for 5 things. Translating. If I have to translate something from German to English or whatever, and it's not one word, it's like some more, I will use AI. For cooking, if I do a recipe, I have not Googled a written recipe in so long. I only use recipes by AI or videos. And the videos, I copy the transcript, I paste it to AI, and I tell it, okay, I don't have these things, I have these things, substitute them for me. And do kind of like add whatever it needs to like to be balanced or something, right? I do that a lot. And that's pretty practical, not gonna lie. And like the end result, it's always like decent, right? The decisions that AI takes cooking, I mean, I'm not a chef. I'm not a Michelin-star restaurant chef, but for some guy that just cooks, they are better than the ideas that I would have came up by myself just on the spot, right? Like the lazy way. This lazy way is better than the default lazy way. Maybe it's not better than the not lazy way, which would be to like lean into cooking and to learn more and watch more YouTube videos and watch and read more books. Maybe that would have been better. But because now I rely too much on AI for cooking. But it's also, I don't know, who cares, right? One of the problems I have with AI is trying to give you what you want, not what it's true. Yeah. I try to prompt against that. I try to prompt and tell it, okay, be real or something like this, or like forget the bullshit or something, or no bullshit, that kind of things. I don't know if it works, to be honest, but I try to mitigate that, but yeah, it's not perfect, definitely. Then probably the most problematic things I use AI for are kind of like these things, planning things, right? Planning, I have some plan that I want to make or some idea or something, talk out loud about ideas. The same thing, I guess, that I would talk out loud by myself before, or talk on stream before, or write on a journal or something, I paste it onto AI, right? Or I write it onto AI to see what it says, right? It's like the quickest way to get feedback on something. And then there are some things that I don't want to tell other people. And those things I almost always only talk to AI about with. And the alternative to that would be post it on Reddit, which I've also done on the past. And it has worked to not great results. So in that sense, I prefer AI to Reddit. I think this year I only asked AI once. It was the AI built into WhatsApp, and I asked if there is a way to get rid of the AI button in WhatsApp. The answer was no. I'm so thirsty. I'm going to grab a glass of water. Worth trying. I'm back. I didn't use just water. I had some kind of juice concentrate or whatever opened from a couple of months ago that I bought. No, maybe more than a couple of months ago. It has to be before April because I bought it at Rossmann down like in my building before, so it's at least from February. The glass or the. Did you buy this or did you just take it with you? I took it. You mean this, right? I take them. I hope it's not considered stealing or illegal. I have a lot. Look, this is from Pride. Prosecco, there's like a gay bar. And Loki crazy. There is like a whole world just for having sex on drugs. That's crazy, bro. This is from Czech Republic. And I have a ton more. I don't know exactly where. I think there. I mean, it is a bit, but I do that too, lol. I mean, in my opinion, it's not stealing. It's like, you know, the tissues you use to clean your nose or to napkins, right? To me, it's like a napkin. It's in between a napkin and a glass, and it's more it's closer to napkin than glass, because how long do they last at a bar? They're made out of cardboard, right? If you put three drinks in a bar context, they don't last. Like they're thrown away to the trash. Probably like every 5 days they throw them to the trash. So they probably kind of like keep buying them, or like the brand keeps giving them these, right? So to me, it's like a consumable. And it's not like they have a fan value attached. It's not like the bottle. If you buy a bottle and you take it away, it's kind of like you should have given them to them because they give the whole casting, right? They give the whole casting back to the company. But with this, they don't, right? I always do it sneakily because I don't know if someone will get mad. But I think it's fair game. Extensive borrowing. No, I don't plan to give it back. But for example, in Spain, we don't have these. In Spain, you know what they do? They simply wipe the table. It's like, what? I don't know. Here they do it too, right? I don't know. I think they're actually not for you to set your drink on it. They're to cover it, right? I see a lot of people doing that, covering them for the flies not to get in and so on. So in that sense, it's kind of like even more a consumable, right? Because if you're putting it on top of your drink where you have put your lips on, you should take it with you so that no one else puts it on their own drink and drinks kind of like your saliva or whatever, right? I personally, in my house, I use them as, yeah, I forgot, I don't know the name in posavasos in Spanish, as cup setters or whatever. But the way they are used around, it's not exclusively cup setters, it's also to put it on top of your drink, right? So that flies don't get in and so on. I feel like it's fair, and I feel like I have good enough arguments for me to argue that if I were to steal one, I mean, the thing is that I always steal a clean one, right? I always take a clean one. Sometimes I will also take the one that I've used, right? But I also additionally take a clean one. But yeah. So yeah, I will keep doing it probably until someone complains. Imagine if 10 years from now I still live in Germany, but I'm more famous, and someone clips this and I go to jail or something because I've stolen so many of these. I mean, I probably go to jail earlier because of the thing that I mentioned about the tax thing, right? I probably go to jail earlier because of that. Or probably I go to jail earlier because of other things that I've said that I won't specify in, because I think I could actually be actually punished because of those. But I won't detail which things I mean. The putting them on the glass is also something where if you sit at the bar, they might just give you a refill until you place on top to show you're finished after that one. Whoa. I mean, I think I've heard that in Köln with this Kölsch. I think there's a beer called Kölsch, right? I think you have to steal like over 1,000 in value for that, I think. But here in Munich, at least, they don't do it. The refilling thing. You have to go yourself to get it refilled. Unless I'm going to like poor people beer garden. I mean, they don't seem like poor people beer garden to me because the beer is like 12 euros. But yeah, it sucks. I never tried it. I think I probably like it. I like lighter things. But yeah, I don't know. For example, right now I think, oh, I'd like to try Kölsch. But then I think, what the fuck am I going to do in Köln? Like, what is going to bring me there? For example, this weekend I could have done it because I should have done it because I have a free ticket that I get from the Deutsche Bahn. I don't get my Deutschland ticket, they don't pay it for me. I have to pay 48 out of the 60 euros myself instead of them paying my whole fucking ticket. But I do get a voucher every month for a ticket. And it counts like as a ICE and everything goes into it. But I don't use them. So the first voucher that I took in July last year is unused. And it has expired. Because I am never like, I should go there, right? I'm always like, I don't know, I'll just stay home. Gamescom was the reason why I was there a couple of years ago. Yeah, maybe if there's something like that happening. Just the week before my exam, there was something happening in Berlin, actually. It was close to Berlin, I think. There was like a classic car concentration, a concours. No, it's not like a concentration, it's a concours d'elegance. And that would have been interesting to go to. But yeah, I had class the next day. I don't know. I'm always like, that's what I meant earlier as well about the, I don't know, I feel like I feel like so bored lately. Not bored, but like so, not sure if disappointed is the word or something. Disheartened, I guess, with everything. My dad wrote me an email saying something like, "You are so sad in your videos lately," or something like this. And I was like, I don't know. Yeah, I guess. He's right, but I don't know. I do have something here related to that. I guess a couple of notes on some things that he mentioned. He mentioned crying, so I was like, do I was like reflecting. I wanted to reflect on this, but I don't know. It feels I also don't want to reflect on this. He mentioned like some Kafka quote, and I looked up and I read the letter that Kafka wrote. It was like a letter to his own father or something. It was like a good letter, to be honest. I tried to read it in German, but it was like too difficult, so I was like, I'll read it in English. And then I think I'm going back a couple sometimes. Yeah, I did also want to do more economics things. I don't know. I was thinking, for example, also thinking if I had to study now something, I'd probably study economics or something like that. Not because I want to be rich, but because at least I don't know. I want to know what's going on with all this money stuff, right? What's going on? But then I'm like, I could be watching YouTube videos about economics on my own, right? But I don't even do that. Well, I watched a couple of videos, very overviews about this, but I don't study like proper economics or something. So I'm like, why the fuck would I sign up or like quit a job just to study some stupid shit that I'm not even gonna do or something? So I was like kind of disheartened about everything. I was like, the only things I accomplish are the things that I'm kind of like contractually obligated to do or something. If I'm contractually obligated to do it and my boss writes me an email and says, you have to do this, or you have to be here at this point, or Bildungskoordination, if I get an email from there and I want to go and I have to go there, I'm like, sure, I go. But it's like I don't even prepare a lot for the simulator test. For example, sure, I did a couple of simulator things on my tablet, but after three Fahrten, I was like, what the fuck am I doing, bro? And I was like, stop. And I was too bored for it. Or like too annoyed. Same for tomorrow. Tomorrow I have like Prüfungsvorbereitung for the Standprüfung. And that Standprüfung, apparently it's something like Prüfung. And that is like saying parts of the train and so on. And obviously I have forgotten like half of the shit. And I could have like, I don't know, brushed up on some of these things. But I don't know, every time I think of like brushing up on this, I'm like, what's the point? And I don't do it. To be honest, I haven't really needed it, I guess, because the simulator I failed. But that's really on them. I can't practice simulator at home. But the things that I can do at home, for example, studying and so on, I haven't actually needed to do it that much, right? With what I've done, it has been enough for me to pass at the first try. So it's like, we'll see how it goes for these ones. I'm actually kind of scared for the real train driving one. For the Standprüfung, I don't know, maybe. But I think, all in all, it will be fine. But for the actual driving, we'll see. I mean, I will be nervous for the Standprüfung, don't get me wrong, but even if I'm nervous, I think I can get by. But for the actual driving, I don't know, there are like so many little things that I don't think I have polished. And I don't feel like I have been, I don't know, well trained, you know? I feel like I've been with so many different trainers and like Fahrtrainers, and they have said, everyone has said something different, and yeah, it's like they tell you how the day-to-day is, but then it turns out that for the exam, that doesn't really go well, right? Or that you should actually do something more. Or some people tell you that this is for the exam, but then afterwards you don't need to do it. But then why is it proved on the exam? I don't know. And some just kind of like let you do your thing and then they're on the phone. So it's like, I mean, thank you for being chill or whatever, because compared to the people who are annoying, it's better that someone's on their phone. But also kind of like, what a waste of time, right? I don't know. We'll see. And more topics that I wanted to discuss. I think we've reached the 12th of June on my notes. Because I went to karaoke, I do have like a couple of karaoke songs that I pasted that came up on that time. And then I mostly have, I don't know. I have a quote from, but this is from already a couple of weeks ago. I have a note here that says minimize negative variance, which I don't know. I've been thinking, right, and I'm like, I understand what you want to say, but I think I get what you mean, but I also don't really know what to say to that. Lol. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I think that's the good and the bad part about AI. AI always has something to say. The problem is that a lot of times it's bullshit. Humans, sometimes it's like, to me it happens that I don't really know what to say. I'm like, okay, so I don't know. AI always has like some bullshit answer, which is dangerous, right? Because you get accustomed to always getting something. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just complaining. It's a weird thing because I think like it's like reflecting on it. The job is kind of like the opposite of what I've tried to do online this whole time. It's like actually the exact opposite. The things that I wanted to do have always been like, okay, this may not be good now, may not have good results now, but the potential is infinite, right? It's like the positive variance is super high and the negative variance is just, well, this video didn't get views, okay, to next, right? But the possibilities are like endless. And the problem with train driving is that it's the opposite, right? It's a job where negative variance is maximized. It's like the best that can happen is that you are on time, which no one thanks you for, and therefore you get paid, which is like, and that's kind of like the default, right? And that's the absolute best that can happen. Well, maybe the best thing is that maybe some passenger is actually mega nice, and on the window he says bye, or like you say hi, or they give you candy. Sometimes one time a little girl gave us like Hanuta, right? And that was like really sweet, right? So for example, okay, so the positive variance is something like this, right? It's like a kind interaction that really makes your day, right? But the negative variance is so high, right? The things that you can do wrong are so enormous that it's kind of like the opposite of what I was doing online, right? The things online were like failing is of no consequence or like of little consequence. but actually higher consequence than I expected, for example. Because failing a little bit is like digging yourself in a hole a little by little by little by little, and then you end up in a hole. I think that's under discussed, but it is like that, right? So it is at least little failures, and the upside is potentially high, right? It's like you could go viral at any time, or like you could meet. Not it's. I actually didn't mean it by going viral with the kind of videos that I made, right? I meant it more with like, okay, this video hits in the specific spot for a couple of people, right? And you get to meet the right or you get the right opportunity from it, right? That's kind of like what I meant. I was looking something up, so now I missed basically everything that you said. I was still thinking about the AI thing. You saw the video where 3 AI tried to count to 100 together. Yeah, that account is really funny. He always does also like this distance thing. He says, okay, I am 1,000 miles away. Can you hear me? And the AI is always like, yes. Or like it says no, but it's clearly hearing you, right? But yeah, I forgot what I said. I don't know exactly what you missed. To sum up, that driving trains is kind of like the opposite of this maximizing positive variance. Maximizing positive variance is like having the upside of the things that you make be kind of like potentially infinite, right? It's like doing something that can potentially be for a long time and have good impact in the world for a long time, and that can bring you good things for a long time, potentially, right? And keep doing that until it eventually happens, something like that happens. And that's like the only way great things can happen. But train driving is the opposite. Train driving is like the upside is capped. You can only get so much money, you can only get so many good interactions or something, right? Because you're also not interacting with a lot of people every day, really, right? It's more like someone has to really get out of their way to do that kind of thing. And you don't have any it's like your positive impact is kind of like moving a lot of people safely or whatever, right? Versus the negative impact that you can have is like if you fuck up once, you can kill, I don't know, 10,000 people, or well, not 10,000, but you can kill 500 people at once, or like maybe 2,000 people if you crash two trains to each other or some shit like that, right? Or you can cause combined 1,000 hours of like delay in a day if you really fuck up. Even if you don't kill anyone, it's like you cause people to get to work late 1,000 times the delay you caused, because one delay multiplies by kind of like 8 or something. By the 8th train, the first delay plus the second plus the third plus the fourth. So it's like fucking insane, right? It's like every little mistake you make has like butterfly effect consequences on everything. I am inside the whale. Wow, that sounds intense. I also follow this account that it's also pretty funny.
Well, I came up with a new joke. You want to hear it?
Whenever you're ready, let's dive right in.
And we're off. Let's dive right in and make it count.
Yo, Sam, I think Argentina's gonna win, bro.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Messi's got that main character energy that's oddly calculated. So to your point, Argentina's going to take this dub in dramatic fashion.
Okay. You know what now? I'm a Spain fan. I actually think Spain's gonna win.
Gotcha. That's exactly what I was thinking. Spain's got that tactical brilliance with a little dash of flair.
Yeah, bro. What are you saying, dude? What are you saying?
When the final whistle blows, Spain's going to be doing some glorious victory dances paired with some epic trophy lifting vibes.
Oh my god, bro. Sam, what's your opinion? Like, what's your opinion on the matter?
You're right for pointing that out. I'm really just here to go along with whatever vibe you're feeling. So where are we going next?
What's your vibe, bro? Not my vibe. Sam?
I don't know.
Divi had a great idea to remove that butterfly effect. They for a time just cancelled the train if it had a delay. But for me that was absolute dog shit since you were already waiting for ages and then they go to this train 3 minutes here and so you have to wait even longer. I was talking about Hast IRL. I don't know who this is. Yeah, no, I know. But this is pretty funny. And he actually looks similar, kind of. Yeah, I mean, that thing actually makes sense, to be honest. The cancelling the train. Because if you're late and you go to your destination, you're just going to make the previous train later. So if you just cancel it and you let another one come to you, it's like if you're 10 minutes late. In S-Bahn services, it makes sense at least. I don't know in Regio. Because Regio, if you cancel a Regio, then you have to wait 2 hours, right? So that's a lot more annoying. But in S-Bahn services, if you have a 10-minute delay, if you cancel this one, instead of like pushing a 10-minute delay through the network, you just make a group of people wait 10 minutes. So it's like, yeah, you have to wait 10 minutes, but it's better that you guys wait 10 minutes and then it's all back to normal than have the 10 minutes kind of like spread through the network and you have to make the whole city wait not only 10 minutes, but then 10 plus 20 plus 30 plus 40, because the last train that is waiting 10 minutes for that one is waiting like a fuck ton of time. So everything gets all fucked up. I read ChatGPT lost its job to AI, but I think it's kind of right. Yes, but they cancel the 3-4 minute delay all the time. Yeah, so you wait 15, right? I mean, I don't know the math, to be honest. I know the theory, right? And I know what we should do, which is like if they tell you to cancel, then it's like you go there, you stop, and you wait, and you go to the other side to leave on time for the... It's also the thing also is that if you're going that way, outwards, right, with 5 minutes of delay, and you're predicted to have 10 minutes of delay at the end, right, then it's better to cut everything off, which is very annoying for the people who want to go from here to there. But if you don't do that, then it's like you're building this Verspätung and then you build also this Verspätung. With this one, the problem is that you cancel this whole train and they have to wait, I don't know, like 25 minutes or like even more, because it's... Hello. Hello, 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 hello. Am I back? Am I back? Am I back? Long time no see, by the way. Long time no see. Okay. What I was saying is that it's the statistics thing is kind of right, but also not 100% right, because it's like I don't know for its train service, but at least the S-Bahn, the contract that they have with like the Bundes whatever, what the Bundesland Bayern, Freistaat Bayern, they have a contract with them, and in these they are like a certain term. So it's like if if your train have a certain amount of delay, you have to pay X, and if you have to cancel them, you have to pay X, Y. But Y is way larger than X. But at a certain point, it's probably like it's done economic. The calculation is done economically, right? It's like canceling this train is worth it when the delay cost across the network is lower than the money that it costs to cancel one. But I assume that these numbers are kind of like, they are arbitrary numbers, right? They are like, they're just numbers. So it's like the one who sets it, it's not the Deutsche Bahn or like S-Bahn München. The one who sets it is the one who gives the contract. Well, it's kind of like they approve the contract, right? They say, okay, we give you guys the contract. In S-Bahn Munich, for example, S-Bahn Munich has a lot of leverage because they're the ones who have the know-how to operate this Stammstrecke and so on. So it's kind of like different. But yeah, it's like canceling a train isn't free, right? It's not like a free solution to your problems, and it's not like a joker card that absolves you from making your delay count lower for free, right? It's like, sure, it may lower your delay statistics or whatever, but the Zugausfall statistics are also being counted, you know, and you also have to pay money for those. So I don't know. It's like when they do, I don't know how it goes in Regio. Maybe it used to be different, by the way. But at least how it is now, if they cancel one train, it's because they really have to do it, because they have to pay a lot of money, like a Strafe. If they cancel it, they have to pay a Strafe. I had a train the other day that got cancelled, and after telling us to get out 30 seconds later, they were like, never mind, we continue. And they told us they also had no idea why. Yeah, those things happen sometimes. And that's mega annoying. For me, for example, if you're the one driving and you don't have any idea what the fuck is going on. And how are you, by the way? How's it going, James? Oh. Not sure if he left or if he also refreshed at some inconvenient point that made the bar drop, but I don't know. I love when they press the intercom on accident, so you just hear them mumbling to themselves or similar. Apparently, some drivers have told me that, no, not the driver. There was a trainer that I had that was a driver, but also who worked at the Leitstelle, so personal dispo. So he kind of like tells Lokführer what to do or like when to change or whatever, right? When there are emergencies. And he said that people, when they talk on the radio with personal dispo, for example, that they would start mumbling before hanging up, right? So before hanging up, they would say like, "Wow, what a fucking asshole," or something like this, and he would overhear before they clicked off. And I was like, because I mean, like, he is the personality after all, right? So he's not your boss, but he's the one with your hours, with your hour count, telling you what shifts to get. He's the one handling Bereitschafts, right? So if you are just not doing anything and they need someone, he can be like, this motherfucker, get him on a train right now. And he can also say, okay, this guy, he can leave early, right? In a Bereitschaft, it's like you've been there doing nothing for 8 hours or for 6 hours. It's like, fuck it, leave early, go home 2 hours early. Or he can be like, no, stay there 8 hours. Your contract says 8 hours 30. You stay there 8 hours 30, right? So saying like, what a fucking asshole or something to this guy in particular is like, whoa. On our trains, pressing the intercom for the passengers on accident is harder because it's like over here, right? It's like you have to do this. You have to press something like this. You can do the pressing, say something, and then not release it, or like start saying something else before releasing it. That can happen. What happens more often to me, for example, is that you press it, you start speaking right away, but the way the system works is that you have to press for like 1 or 2 seconds and then it activates and you get like a little light. But normally it's like if you press and start saying something right away, you get cut off and people don't hear what you said, I guess. That has probably happened to me a couple of times. I also give my whatever in broken German, so... Maybe I'll use AI. I just write ChatGPT, say this, and I put ChatGPT on the on the microphone, and then they are like, "What the fuck? They're using AI for this? What the hell? It sounds so horrible," or something. Okay, I thought it might be a switch that they forget to flip back. It can be, I don't know. It depends on the train type. Our trains are like a button that you have to that it's like that you might have to maintain pressed to speak. But for example, the radio, that is kind of like something that stays on unless you click and hang up. Please don't. I don't know. My German is really bad though. Like it sounds really bad. Which makes it the more funny, right? The fact that I'm here, but I mean, it's not really bad in the sense that I can pass, right? I can pass these exams and these exams. I mean, it's not that they are really difficult exams, but they are in German, right? And it's not like 1 plus 1, 2. It's like a little bit more than that. But customer support every time these dumb AI that don't understand anything you want from them. I'm starting to swear at AI when I'm on a call and just want to speak to a person. I think those AIs, I mean, maybe they are AIs, but that used to be like when it was really annoying, when it was not AI, right? When it was like just automation. When that was happening, that was like kind of shit, because that was really actually shit. You said something and it didn't recognize what the fuck you said. I think technically AI should kind of understand a little bit more what you're trying to say, but I don't know. I try to never call anything.
es que en vídeo no se aprecia, pero... O sea, básicamente no se ve. O sea, estoy apuntando al sol con la cámara y se ve la esfera. O sea, es que hay mazo de humo.
Apparently there is
No se
like
aprecia, de verdad, no se aprecia
smoke.
bien, pero hay muchísimo.
The automatization was much better in my opinion, and as long as they press key inputs. Yeah, that was normal. But the AI tries to understand you, but just never does. Then I have never used one of those on voice. I have seen the people who are like developing or something like those, or some calls a couple of months ago of those systems that were working kind of like good. And I've also seen like Google releasing theirs, but for the public, right? That you yourself can use in your phone this AI to make calls or some shit like this, right? Like normal people, regular people, right? That has to be funny. Imagine being like some kind of like restaurant worker or whatever, and you take the phone and it's like some guy's AI asking for a reservation. You would go probably like so mad. Or if do you take calls yourself? You're not really probably you, right? It's probably your. It's like you take calls from your boss probably directly, or your clients that you already know. But imagine if your boss is like taking a call for a new client and it's like some AI asking asking it stuff. That has to be fucking hell. I would hang up that same instant. I wonder how AI reacts to that. Like, does it call again later or what? Yeah, I take calls. Oh. But yeah, I take some calls from people I don't know at all. Interesting. Hope you don't get AI then. That'd be pretty annoying. By the way, look. This micro SD card reader in the shape of a micro SD card. Okay, I think I'm going to end the stream now because it's already 8:30 or something and I have to make dinner. I actually am not that hungry, so I don't know. Well, I was called by AI on my work number twice. I hung up instantly. Nice, I like it. I've been kind of obsessed with kind of like thing-shaped objects. I don't know, for example, this tiny paella. This fried egg little holder. Lemon-shaped tray and aloe vera shaped aloe vera bottle. You need a floppy disk or a 3D printed save button. I've seen SSD enclosures, you know, these kind of SSDs, these 2.5 inch NVMe or whatever. There are floppy disk enclosures from that, and I did think it was pretty funny. Let me see if I can load it up. Have I passed it already? It was about DOS. But yeah, for example, I also like these things. A mini PC shaped in the form of an NES. That's pretty fucking cool, to be honest. This is like some kind of SSD enclosure, and he uses to store DOS games, which is like this old Windows kind of like, well, pre-Windows, right? It's a pretty cool idea. I think I probably looked that up on AliExpress, but I didn't buy it because I don't really have any SSDs laying around or something. And probably because of that, I got this thing recommended. But yeah, as I was saying, I'm gonna end stream now. Thank you for watching and for being here today. Hope you have a nice week. Hope I also have a nice week. I don't know what the pairs might be this week. Prüfungsvorbereitung, Standprüfung. Friday. Tomorrow, Thursday. Friday. Then on Tuesday. Then I have the exam. Then I don't know exactly when I will have the exam, but probably Thursday or Friday or some of those days. So maybe the next week I have already an exam, and then the next one we'll see. So yeah, see you around, and bye.